on it.
Agassi has been brilliant in Scottsdale at the Purex Tennis Championships this week, having lost just 6 games in 3 matches so far. Woodforde is as hot as the color of his hair. This Australian left-hander has won 8 straight matches en route to the Purex semis. Agassi versus Mark Woodforde. Tonight on Prime Network. We are in Scottsdale, Arizona at the Scottsdale Princess, ready to bring you semifinal action of the Purex Tennis Championships. And in our match tonight, the number 2 seed, Agassi, takes on unseeded but very hot Mark Woodforde. And good evening, everybody. Barry McKay with you again. Continuing coverage here on Prime Network of Big League Tennis. We will have the finals tomorrow right here from Scottsdale. And joining me, Tim Mayotte. And Tim, you asked Andre earlier in the year, what's his goal? He said number 1 in the world. How's he doing?
Well, he's got a long climb. Of course, he pulled out of the Australian Open. Then he got on track, winning in San Francisco. Fell off a little bit there where he lost early in the quarterfinals at Memphis. But he appears to be back on track here. You can see only 59 minutes per match this week, and he's played some tough opponents, including Emilio Sanchez, who he beat 1-1, and he took out Sandon Sully 0-0, 6-0, 6-0. So this kid is hot.
Everybody says you have to have big weapons to beat Agassi. Does Mark Woodforde have those weapons?
2 questions. Can Woodforde's lefty swinging serve penetrate the Agassi return? And also, can Mark put together a strategy where he can penetrate against those great Agassi ground strokes? Woodforde red hot this year, winning last week in Philadelphia, beat Lendl in the finals there. He's been the number 1 doubles player in the world. He's a smart player, a heady player. He's been around for a while, but he's going to have to play his best tennis against an Agassi who appears to be in top form.
We will soon find out as Mark Woodforde goes against Agassi. And when we return, we're also going to have highlights from this afternoon on Ondruska against Chesnikov. Stay with us on Prime Network. Center court action here. Agassi taking on Mark Woodforde. Well, this afternoon, semifinals. Marcus Ondruska was going against Andrei Chesnikov. Earlier today's semifinal action, the big Russian Andrei Chesnikov going against the youngster from South Africa, Marcus Ondruska. Both players loving that baseline and with very similar styles. The two-hander. Watch the volley by Chesnikov. A brilliant low backhand volley. And at this point, it looked like Chesnikov had a chance. But Ondruska hung tough. A huge forehand. And that was the big shot for Ondruska all afternoon. And now, match point for Marcus Ondruska. One of the longest points of the afternoon. The drama continued on center court here at the Scottsdale Princess. Chesnikov stays back. Ondruska just waits for an opportunity. The short ball. And here he comes. Match point. Ondruska with the backhand volley. And there it was. A big upset as the youngster from South Africa moved into the final, beating the Russian in straight sets. And as we look live now, Mark Woodforde on the left, warming up against the number 2 seed and the current Wimbledon champion, Andre Agassi. A big opportunity here for Mark Woodforde. He won last week, as we mentioned, in Philadelphia. And this should be some kind of a semifinal match. Stay with us on Prime Network. We'll have it for you right here. Semifinals coming up. Welcome back to the center court here at Scottsdale, where the number 2 seed Andre Agassi and Mark Woodforde are taking their final warm-up serves. Mark Woodforde, the lefty from Adelaide, Australia. Certainly one of his biggest moments now because he is playing well. 27 years old, 6'2", in great shape there at 170. Spent some time in Monte Carlo and ranked 23 in the world, too.
Well, he has really been moving up, as we said. Won last week in Philly. Finally getting healthy after being injured way back in 1990. Had a string of ankle problems, and he has put together 12 healthy months, and that has really contributed to his good play thus far this year.
He has been playing well. A look at his early round results here.
Well, it's a sign of a confident player who comes through in tough matches, taking out Thomas Carbonell in the first match. But that win against Mal Washington, you could see the swing tiebreaker where he took Washington out and then went away. Took that match. Very solid win for Mark Woodforde.
And so Mark Woodforde with his hands full tonight going against the current Wimbledon champion, Andre Agassi. Agassi still in his sweats. He's peeled off the top part of that warm-up. Only 22 years old. Hard to believe. Seems like he's been around forever. 5 feet 11 inches. 175. Still living in Las Vegas, Nevada. And the number 8 player in the world.
Agassi has just been playing almost perfect tennis. I saw the end of the match last night against Emilio Sanchez, and he just made it look too easy. Sanchez, one of the best players in the world. Agassi winning 1-1, just dropping the ball on a dime around the court. Agassi's results, they look a lot like he's playing a local junior tournament or something. He went out, Sandin Stolly, double bagel, 0-0, then against a young, tough, big server, Keith Evans. Very easy match. And then, as we said, the number 31st ranking player in the world, Emilio Sanchez. And Sanchez has been as high as 12, and Agassi made it look like a mismatch.
Well, you know how tough it is on this tour, Tim, and to lose only 6 games coming into a semifinal, very impressive results. Let's have a look now at our Nike game plan. We like to look ahead at this match and see what each player has to do in order to win.
Well, it's been so easy for Agassi this week. I think focus could be a problem if this match gets close. Of course, that patent Agassi forehand is always a factor, and Woodforde will come to net, so Agassi will have to pass well. Woodforde, big first serves. He needs to swing that ball out wide, particularly in the ad court. Strategy, he's going to have to figure out how to get to net, how to penetrate Agassi's ground strokes, and I think he's going to need to shtick his volleys a lot on this very slow hard court.
No question about it. As we have a look now at our chair umpire, the very experienced, traveled gentleman, Richard Kaufman, now calls High Falls, New York, his home, formerly from Seattle, Washington, and he's got the gloves on, and I'll tell you what, we may need those before the night is over. It is definitely cooling off markedly here, Tim, and I think that's going to have an effect on how these guys get started.
Well, I'm surprised these guys have taken off their warm-ups. Earlier in the week, we saw them playing with their warm-ups in the first couple games to get into it. So the cold will have a factor tonight.
Look at their head-to-head record here.
Very tough match. That was back when Agassi was just breaking on the scene. Woodforde was young as well, but 88 was that first big year for Andre Agassi.
First game, first set. We are underway here with this semifinal. It is best of 3 sets. The winner into the final tomorrow to take on Marcus Ondruska. And Tim, if that's any omen, we talked just before we went on the air. I know you and I like to come in behind balls, but I think that's got to be one of Woodforde's plays here, is to take the serve and try and get in behind it.
Well, that could be the best short ball he sees throughout a point. That, of course, that serve has to land inside of the service box, so it's a nice short one, particularly on the second serve of Agassi's.
Woodforde with that slice backhand going wide. Woodforde's got good variety, too, doesn't he, off that backhand side?
Wonderful. He can really come over that backhand and slice it, perhaps better than anybody with a two-handed backhand in the game. And he gets the net on it well. A nice transition into net off the one-hander.
You know, I wonder if Woodforde tonight will use the drop shot. We saw him use it against Lendl early in that match in Philadelphia.
Well, kind of a carryover from his doubles play. Great touch around the net, but this court is very high bouncing, a lot of grit, and Agassi moves perhaps better than anybody on the tour, so if he hits it, it better be perfect.
Agassi up, first game, 30-15. Andre definitely has improved that first serve. He'll take some chances. Miss hit on the two-hander there, and so Woodforde keeps it even here, 30-all.
Andre did just fly in there. We mentioned he has purchased a jet which he tools around the country, and in fact will be flying internationally. So he just flew in from Vegas this morning. amazingly, he went home last night after his night match against Sanchez, got back on the plane this afternoon, 45 minutes from Las Vegas to the local private airport here, and here he is ready to go.
Agassi, a good second serve down the middle. And a high bouncer, and Agassi holds serve in the first game of the first set. Andre Agassi, 1-love. Welcome back to Scottsdale, where some threatening clouds are coming across the arena here. As you can see them just behind the stands there. It's 65, and if it's 65, I'm a lady tennis player, because it's a lot colder than that up here, I can tell you. Woodforde to serve now. Second game. First set, he is down love 1. Woodforde overhits with the forehand. I don't think Woodforde wants to get into too many baseline rallies with Agassi.
No, but he's going to have to be selective about what he comes in on. Can't come in on chopped liver. Agassi will pass him.
Yes. A service ace down the center. Agassi moving just slightly to his left.
Well, he's protecting Agassi as against that swinging Woodforde serve, which is his best serve. 18th ace this week. Leading the tournament. That's hard to believe at 18 aces.
And a good example of trying to put a little too much on the volley. When you see Agassi start to move, and Tim, you've played him, do you have a tendency maybe just to overhit the volley?
You look up, you try to go behind him. His passing shots are so good, and he moves so well that you feel you have to place that volley just a little bit too good. That's an unusual error from Woodforde, who usually is consistent off the volley.
15-30. And just too good from Woodforde.
It's a nice combination here from Mark Woodforde. He'll swing this serve out wide. Good return from Agassi, but Woodforde waits on it. You can see him keep his weight back, then make the transition into the open court.
Very few players get the ball by Agassi on the clean winner like that. That was an excellent 1-2 punch. Solid depth again from the two-hander.
And one thing we haven't talked about, Barry, is maybe Woodforde might be a little bit tired. He's not used to playing a lot of singles matches. And after all those matches last week in Philadelphia and then come back here, his fourth match this week in Scottsdale, the fatigue may catch up with him.
He's played 2 3-set matches. A big serve again down the center.
But there's a real chance for Woodforde to break through, show he's one of the best players. You can see there. Amazing difference in the match time between these two players.
Oh, yes. So tough.
And what is amazing about this point is Woodforde comes in on a great approach shot. But watch him pick this second ball up now. There's the return, kind of a mishit. But watch him pick this ball up right on the full run, and he just rifles that ball back, sets up the easy passing shot. And as we said, Woodforde's going to have to do a lot with his volleys.
Just over. Agassi, maybe one of the best half volleyers from the baseline we've had in tennis in many a year.
I think his ability to take the ball on the rise is the best I've ever seen, perhaps except for McEnroe. These guys, just incredible natural athletes, born to play tennis.
Solid return.
one of the problems Woodforde faces. His favorite serve, the swinging return, the swinging serve goes right into Agassi's strength, that two-hander. Now watch Agassi, compact string, barely brings the racket back and just controls that ball down the line. He didn't even hit it that hard.
Again, break point. Left first serve. This is a Plexipave outdoor, fairly smooth, but not that fast. A good court. You can play some defense on this court. Oh, Agassi again, just overhitting the forehand.
And if this match gets close, it could be interesting. Agassi playing in a little bit of a dream world so far this week because his matches have been so easy. It might get a little tight if Woodforde can stay on top of him. We talked about strategy. Woodforde really opening up the court beautifully. Nice backhand. He's got Agassi on the full run out of the court, and he just doesn't make the transition shot. I think he maybe would like to slice that backhand, come in, keep the ball low.
Had a lot of room there, but didn't get the break, and so once again, the Wimbledon champion has break point. That ball will go wide, and so Agassi breaks serve. He leads it 2-love. And tomorrow we will have the finals here from Scottsdale. Marcos Ondruska, a youngster from South Africa who's had a tremendous week here, awaits the winner of this match, Agassi or Woodforde. We'll have it for you on Prime Network. Check your local listings. From the Scottsdale Princess tomorrow, finals of the Purex Tennis Championships. And so Andre Agassi now with a quick 2-love lead here in the first set, trying to get to 3-love. Yes.
What a smart point, Barry. Woodforde moving the ball around the whole court, keeping Agassi on the run. A little bit of a drop shot here. He draws Agassi in and then sets up the cross-court passing shot. But it's funny because he's actually in an offensive position when Agassi is at net here. Nice sweeping forehand. You can see Woodforde, unusual for an Australian. He has that big windy forehand.
Love 15. Andre again missing with the two-hander. I think Agassi one of the quickest starters, Tim, in the game. Reminds me of a guy we used to play against, Pancho Segura, who would come out and he'd be able to just start very quickly.
And the amazing thing is Agassi does not warm up that much before the match. I remember in the French Open finals, Agassi came out, he warmed up for 5 minutes and went out and played. So does not need a lot of time to get going.
But he's in trouble here, down love 30, but up 2-love. No, and it goes wide, and so now Woodforde with a chance to get right back in this set. Andre down triple break point. Andre has only lost one service game this week. there's another one, and so Agassi loses at love. It's 2-1 Agassi first set.
What kind of hair? That's Rich McKee. What's his first name? McKee. What's his first name? Rich?
He was in San Francisco. Welcome back to center court here at the Scottsdale Princess Resort, where Mark Woodforde has broken serve and is now serving to try and get even at 2 games all in the first set. Huge game that last game, Tim, to come back and break at love.
Well, it's easiest to break back when you've just been broken, so Woodforde really jumping on the opportunity. But some bad errors from Agassi. Mark Woodforde, the way he sneaks into net. He comes in when he sees the opportunity. Nice forehand here. He sees in good shape. Now watch him sneak into the last second. Plays the midcourt beautifully right down the line. And then this is a double shot that kind of slice backhand overhead. Very smart player is Mark Woodforde.
You know, Woodforde never seems to get rattled, Tim. He sets his own pace. I mean, he never rushes. He slows things down. He has a wonderful pacing about his game.
A lot of discipline, Mark Woodforde. As you said, Barry, does not get ruffled, even against the best players in the world.
Even though his coach's name is Ray Ruffles. And so 8 points in a row for Mark Woodforde. A solid performance here early. It is 2 games all. From Adelaide, Australia, the #1 doubles player in the world. And this youngster has come alive in singles, winning last week in Philadelphia, even though it was a walkover there, or at least a default from Lindell after that tough first set.
And Agassi looking a little subdued tonight. He has really toned down his antics out there in the court, but tonight in particular he looks very much inside himself. Business only. He's trying to get rid of that image is everything image that was tacked onto him. And according to Andre Agassi, it's Mr. Business this year.
Certainly is.
What's so amazing about Agassi, now watch Woodforde do this little slice return. You got Agassi on the full run, but watch Agassi pick this ball right off the surface and hit that shot about 100 miles an hour. Drew an error from Woodforde. Amazing hands. Great stuff from Andre Agassi. Look at that inside-out forehand way over in the doubles alley, and he just pounds it and draws the error. I certainly think he has the best forehand in the game right now.
Well, should Agassi win this match, he plays a kid who hits the forehand kind of like him. Marcus Andruska's got a huge forehand. We saw it this afternoon. Agassi now 1 point away from a 3-2 lead, 40-15. Just wide, and Agassi holds serve. He leads 3-2 first set. Welcome back to the Scottsdale Princess Resort. We are at the Purex Tennis Championships, where Mark Woodforde, unseeded, is going against Andre Agassi, the #2 seed. Woodforde down 2-3. It's good.
And just bad luck there for Mark Woodforde. Played that point perfectly. And watch here. Look how close to that Woodforde is. He thinks he's going to win the point here, but great control on that Agassi backhand volley right in the corner. Sneaks in behind it.
Agassi made a great play there. The minute he saw that ball get over Woodforde, he came in behind it. Oh.
And Woodforde gets the right way, but just couldn't handle the volley.
Woodforde was just sitting on that low forehand volley.
Well, bad luck here for Mark Woodforde. He sets the points up, goes for the big forehand, clips the top of the net. He comes in anyway, and you could see him moving before Agassi hit that passing shot. Now watch Woodforde move to that forehand volley, and he just can't get under it. Too much topspin on the Agassi forehand.
Love 30. Chance for Agassi again to break. And just wide. I beg your pardon. I thought I heard an out call in that ball, but it was good. So Woodforde, another brilliant forehand winner.
I think that was some woman there, and they're trying to call that ball out. Maybe in a young Agassi fan close up doing an overrule. But it won't stand. 15-30.
Richard Kaufman does not accept calls from the audience tonight. Only the lines people have that power. There is Richard Kaufman.
We'll have none of this from the stands.
Open court, he tries to put it away and overhits it.
Well, Barry, you talked about having to go for too much when you play Agassi, and I think Woodforde's doing that because he's missing a lot of volleys he would normally miss. Gets Agassi out of court, and then he comes in on a nice behind the shot forehand there. He's got the whole court. Woodforde a solid volleyer, and he punches that way long.
And so now, double break point for Agassi. That is so tough. Agassi just drills the two-hander. Talk about control as we look at Phil Agassi to the far left there.
And Rich McKee, who is Andre's hitting partner back in Vegas. Phil just flew in this morning with Andre, but Andre must be a geometry major to come up with the angle off that two-hander. I don't know how he created that. Incredible stuff. Phil, of course, a fine player himself. Really worked closely with Andre through the years.
And so Agassi now up. Another break, leading 4-2. Miss it.
Agassi with great conversion at the net, and we've talked about Agassi's passing shots. They're really hurting Mark Woodforde. And of course, he's flubbed a couple easy volleys, so Woodforde will have to get that net conversion ratio up if he's going to be in this match.
Tim, you played Agassi a number of times. Beat him once. What did you do when you beat him?
I served well, and I got all over the net. If I let him lob me and just gave him that shot, but you have to get in on Andre. And I thought the best play on that short second serve attack. Go for a winner off the second serve. It's the best chance you have against a guy who hits his ground strokes like Agassi.
Woodforde missing with the forehand, and so Agassi now quickly to 40 love.
But as you mentioned, the longer the rallies go, the better chance Agassi has of winning the point. Plus, he gets grooved as the match goes on. Loves to hit those ground strokes all around the place. So I think Woodforde should charge into net a lot more.
Net court. Oh, yes. A brilliant lob by Mark Woodforde.
Well, Woodforde did so well on this point, but let's watch Agassi pick this ball up. Watch him just flip that ball off his shoestrings.
That's incredible.
A little body English there. Did a little Baryshnikov, and can't get up too high for that. We know why Andre Agassi's not starting for the UNLV basketball team.
But it's a ballet out here tonight. I tell you, he can really move. It's good. And so Agassi holds. It's 5 games to 2. Agassi. We are at the Scottsdale Princess. Welcome back to center court here as Mark Woodforde is serving down 2-5 in the first set. So far, Agassi has looked very impressive. Woodforde overhits the forehand, love 15. But we're not at a Michigan football game, I'll tell you what, but it feels like it up here. And there's some bundled up fans. It is definitely chilly out here tonight. This is Scottsdale, Arizona, folks.
A lot of fur here in Scottsdale.
They've had a tough week of weather, a little cold on the chilly side, and a little bit of rain on and off. Agassi missing, just catching the tape. So what you're saying, Tim, if you play Agassi, you take the return, come in behind it, and bring the baseline with you.
That's what I love to do. Make him pass you. If he did, that's too good. Of course, Woodforde a little more comfortable in the backcourt than I was, but I think he's not going to beat Agassi from the backcourt.
Good concentration on the two-hander.
Woodforde not having any luck at net. This is a pretty good approach shot. You can see him slice it there. Comes in, and in a full stretch he tries to topspin that volley. But Andre Agassi would love to take the air out of Mark Woodforde's balloon tonight. Of course, Woodforde on a big high, and a guy like Agassi likes to put Woodforde back in his place and show him how the big boys really play. I think a lot of people waiting for an out call here. Woodforde sneaks in on this slice backhand. You can see it very close to the line, and Agassi almost makes the passing shot, but Woodforde covers the net like one of those blankets we saw up in the stands there. Woodforde there finally making good on one of those forehand volleys.
They say that balls in this light air here in the desert kind of have a tendency to float. That one shot that we just saw, a good example of that. The ball just kind of took off at the last minute.
And a little bit of altitude here. Stefan Edberg was telling me he felt the ball going through the air a little bit more quickly. We're at about 2,500 feet above sea level.
Preparation again. Agassi concentrates so well when he has to hit the passing shot.
Woodforde sneaking in. Just good stuff around the net, but Agassi just at pinpoint will not be outdone. Great backhand. You can see the early preparation. Woodforde just can't cover the line.
And so now set point for Andre Agassi here, leading 5-2. Just wide. the overhead, and so Agassi has won the first set out here. So Andre Agassi with the first set, 6-2. And you have to wonder, watching Agassi play at this level, Tim, why isn't he going down to Australia to play Davis Cup for the U.S.?
Well, a very big political situation going on there. Andre Agassi wants to get one of his best friends, John McEnroe, named to the head of the USTA Davis Cup program, and the USTA didn't see it that way. Andre a little upset that John's not in the driver's seat. Another great backhand from Agassi. He felt it was that combined with the factor he had to go and switch back onto grass playing at Kooyong, and of course the long trip down to Australia, it would impede his progress to that #1 ranking. And Jim Courier and Pete Sampras felt the same way. So although those guys were not so much affected by the political situation with McEnroe.
Agassi all over the short return.
Just a great 1-2 punch here from Andre Agassi. Launches himself into that serve. Now you can see him move into midcourt. Early preparation. And the patented forehand winner.
Oh, just catches the tape and falls back on Agassi's side. He almost got lucky on that shot. Agassi loves to play at a fast tempo, doesn't he? You just get the feeling he's just moving this match along as quickly as he can. He is all business out here this week. First service ace for Agassi. Only 35 minutes have gone by since they started play.
Agassi trying to get under that 59-minute umbrella that he's been under all week. So,
well, he had no mercy on Sand and Stolle. Beat him 6-love, 6-love. The days of giving a game away are long gone. And finally, Agassi trying to hit the open court.
These guys don't look like they're cold out there. Only quite a sweat going from both players, moving all around the court. Woodforde determined to come in. It's good play. Well, it's kind of a mishit off Agassi. You can see that forehand falls short, and then a good deep approach shot gives Agassi the cross court, and he just can't execute.
Well, speaking of John McEnroe, Woodforde, of course, teamed with him to win the U.S. Open doubles. They had played a lot. John got beat once or twice by Woodforde, and I think he said, hey, I'm going to join this guy. I'm not going to fight him anymore, and they ended up winning the U.S. Open doubles.
Well, John's no dummy. Hooked up, of course, with Michael Stich this past summer and won the Wimbledon title in a great match in the finals.
Woodforde sees the opening, goes for it, and then just overhits the two-hander. It's deuce.
And a big opportunity gone by the boards for Mark Woodforde. Agassi playing good defense. You can see him struggling to get that forehand, just slashing at that forehand, and Woodforde had the whole court and just couldn't make that backhand cross court. I think if he lost that point, it would have been the first time Agassi would have been behind in a set this week.
Second serve. Woodforde continuing to come in on excellent approach shots, and so once again, a chance for Woodforde to break serve here in the first game of the second set.
Take a look at the different types of string patterns these guys have. You can see Woodforde there with a very wide string pattern. He's the only player on the tour to use that racket and that string pattern. He feels it gets a lot more spin off the racket.
And Woodforde breaks serve in the first game of the second set. Woodforde leads 1-love in the second. Welcome back to center court here at the Purex Tennis Championships. Mark Woodforde right back in this set with a break, leading 1-love, but he is down a set. This is best of 3. Winner into the final. We'll have it for you tomorrow on Prime Network. Marcos Ondruska waiting for the winner of this match.
Woodforde just keeps on charging. We'll find out how he got such a good net game. Of course, Woodforde, one of the best doubles players in the world. 2 Grand Slam titles, U.S. Open with McEnroe in '89, and then with Todd Woodbridge in 1992 down under in Australia.
Drop shot.
Agassi's like an alchemist out there. This guy just creating shots. Watch him pick this ball off the court here. Last second flips it over, and then he comes in and kind of a funky volley back behind Woodforde. This kid moves like a gazelle. Great early preparation. Flips that ball, goes to the backhand volley grip, and just punches it in the open court.
Just wide, very close on that sideline. And you wonder in that Davis Cup, the Woodies playing for Australia against, looks like Renneberg and Grab.
Right, Gorman going with Renneberg and Grab. Watch this forehand. Woodforde thinks he makes it down the line. He knows it's a big point, does not want to let Agassi get back into the second set.
Just long.
But that should be a very important swing match, that doubles match. Of course, Tom Gorman picking Brad Gilbert and David Wheaton to defend the U.S. title, Davis Cup champions, and a tall order for those 2 guys going into Kooyong against a heavily partisan crowd in Australia. There was some talk of Pat Cash coming back out of retirement to play in that doubles match, and I'm not sure the status of that, but we saw Pat down in Australia. He was getting back in shape.
So now break point for Agassi to get right back in this second set. Of course, that Davis Cup match we've been referring to will be played at the Kooyong Stadium in Melbourne, Australia, the old site of the Australian Championships and a very historic venue for tennis. Oh, Woodforde serves up his second ace, and what a time for it. Break point. Agassi moved way around, left him a lot of room, and he went for it.
Well, Woodforde gambling against the man from Vegas, way outside. You can see Agassi gives him the down the middle, and Woodforde hits it.
It's a tremendous second serve. And Woodforde has played 2 brilliant points here. The second serve ace and then just a swinging forehand. Boy, that was a risky second serve.
Oh,
Second serve, he goes down the middle. Just barely brings it in. Woodforde holds serve after some trouble, and so Mark Woodforde now leading 2-love in the second. Agassi with the first.
See Woodforde there with the grip change going way over to that Western forehand grip. Beautiful stuff from Mark Woodforde. You can see him now switch over to the backhand slice. Great transition there from shot to shot from Mark Woodforde. Very solid set from both players, but unforced errors, particularly off the volley. Woodforde with 13, Agassi a very good set, only 7 unforced errors, control the whole way. And the wind has picked up a lot here, Barry.
Definitely. We can feel it up here, as you mentioned. It swirls down there. That's what we're looking at way up high, but it's very tricky.
And we have a lot of sand blowing in off the desert. Can't see it on your picture, but conditions very messy right now. At the inaugural tournament in Dubai this year, you can see Woodforde looking up at the wind that's blowing in the sand, but the inaugural event in Dubai this year, they had to cancel the final, or in fact postpone it because of sandstorms.
There it is up there. Yes, Agassi serves ace number 2. A high kicker out wide to that left-handed forehand.
Little ball girl got hit in the face with a ball there. Mark Woodforde just checking it out.
Just stayed on the baseline. Woodforde had another look at it, but he knew it was good. And Woodforde really having trouble now with these conditions out here, trying to figure out exactly where the wind's coming from. And I don't think it's coming from anywhere in particular. It's just swirling down there. .40 love. Agassi elects to hit the slice. You don't see him do that too often, do you, Tim, from the baseline?
Well, he mostly does it when he's forced out wide to the backhand side, has to make up a little bit extra territory, and he goes to that one-hander. Pretty effective with it, but that one he mistimed.
And the good forehand volley, and so Agassi holds serve. 2-1 Woodforde in the second. Agassi won the first. Welcome back as we look at Ray Ruffles in the green hat with the white logo, and on his right, Sandon Stolle. Ruffles, of course, on the far right there, and as we mentioned, that is Fred Stolle's son, Sandon, who did not pick up a game against Agassi earlier in the tournament.
One of Agassi's punching bags in the early going here. Sandon actually had a week off last week. He was up in Idaho doing some skiing, and so wasn't really working on his game, and he paid the price against a very hot Andre Agassi. What do you think of that strategy, Barry? Bringing Agassi in with the little drop shot.
I like it because certainly you don't want to stay in any kind of rallies with this guy.
See here, the drop shot draws Agassi in, opens the court up, and Woodforde actually has a shot at that passer. Just mistimed it.
Love 30 now. Agassi kind of jumped at that ball. We saw Neil Fraser here earlier in the week, Tim, and he was headed out for Palm Springs, wanted to know where he could watch this match in Southern California. We suggested Prime Ticket.
I'm sure he's tuning in.
Sure he's watching his charge here, Woodforde.
Neil Fraser has not picked the Australian Davis Cup team for that tie we've been talking about in Melbourne.
Woodforde pulls over the forehand, and so now Agassi with a big chance, double break point, to try and even this set at 2 games all.
Agassi going back for the towel. Andre really having a much better year this year. You can see their converted chances opportunity there. Agassi having 26 opportunities throughout the whole week, so he's just been dominating. Very close.
Ooh, both players just about ready to change sides. A lot of whistles here. Second serve.
Andre saying to himself, get aggressive. Lost his concentration on that backhand return. Might have a little bit of sand in his eye.
Goes wide, and Agassi breaks serve. It's 2 games all. Live college basketball comes your way this week on Prime's Jam Session. First Wednesday night, Nebraska squares off with 6th-ranked Kansas in a Big 8 battle. Then on Thursday, South Florida and Southern Miss clash in the Metro Conference, followed by Arizona State and Stanford in the Pac-10. The Jam Session rocks this week on most Prime affiliates. And knowing Stanford like you do, Tim, I think they got a good shot in that game.
I'll be tuning in for sure, my old alma mater.
Agassi just drills the 2-hander. That's what people come to see, Tim. Talk about nailing a shot. He really got into that ball.
He just electrifies the audience. Watch this on the run, early preparation. See how his racket's back waiting, and then he just comes through with the backhand passer.
15 love.
I was hitting some balls with one of our executive producers, Jeff Hallis, today, and told Jeff to get that racket back early, and there's a perfect example. Agassi, early preparation, 2 hands right below the ball, and then right through with the backhand.
He's saying, you lazy bum. He didn't like the way he hit the 2-hander. The one thing he does on passing shots, Tim, he concentrates on where he's hitting the ball. Doesn't seem to worry about where his opponent is.
It's a good play because he knows he has so much penetration. Even if the guy picks the shot, that he's going to get another shot at it. So, tremendous focus.
Oh, and Woodforde just blows the backhand volley. That was not a tough shot.
Well, Woodforde just comes in on absolute chop liver here. Not a good approach shot, but Agassi does nothing with the passing shot, and Woodforde mistimes the easy backhand volley.
Yeah, there's the mark. There it is. And the ball goes long, and so Agassi holds serve. 3-2 Agassi, second set. Welcome back as Mark Woodforde is ready to serve. Down 2-3. He lost the first 6-2. Just knocks off. That's the shot he needed before, Tim, when he missed that backhand.
You can see him just pumping his head there. Can't believe he missed the last one. There's Woodforde at the change. Is it cold here or what? And he's talking to himself. He can't believe he's playing in subarctic conditions.
Oh, the backhand volley goes long. Again, Agassi keeps that ball so low on the return. I think one of the most remarkable matches was when he beat Ivanisevic in that final over there. Returned that huge serve to him on the fast grass.
Well, nobody else could get Ivanisevic serve back, but Agassi was all over it, especially on the backhand side.
15 all. Missing with that slice backhand. That's his bread and butter approach. Has not missed too many of those tonight.
And you do get the sense that he's just going for just a little too much, playing that close to the line. And that's tough to do in these windy conditions.
Continues to swirl. Very difficult conditions tonight. Getting colder by the second. 15:30 now. Just give Agassi a split second to get set, Tim, and he is tough.
This is a pretty good approach shot. He plays it sort of down the middle, but Agassi just nails it cross court. And you can see Agassi charging in now. Watch this backhand, and then he's preparing for the next shot right away. You could see him starting to move in just in case Woodforde dropped that ball over the net.
Woodforde, ace number 3. Agassi just heads for the other side. And so Woodforde saves one break point. Still break point for Agassi. To the net by Agassi.
And this is an awfully big pass on an enormous point. If Woodforde doesn't make this shot, he's down break. Agassi comes in on a good approach shot. Woodforde swings that ball across court. Woodforde incredible, only at 33%, and Agassi just tremendous conversion ratio. That's of course Andre coming in on such good approach shots.
Catches the sideline. Ooh, that's a tough passing shot.
Woodforde looking for a mark. I thought it was wide too, Barry. I'm not sure. That was a great passing shot, but of course they don't go by marks here on the hard surface. There's a lot of scuffs around there, but Agassi with tremendous accuracy.
Quick preparation. Agassi just scampers over. And so Agassi breaks serve. It is now 4-2.
Awfully big point here. Watch Agassi with the early preparation below the crossbar. Woodforde can't cover it. And Agassi is really off to an incredible start in '93, Barry. Last year he lost in 5 first rounds and 8 second rounds, and this year if he wins this match he'll be into his second final. He lost in the first round here in Scottsdale, so Andre turning around '93 from a slow start in '92. And I think one thing I found hard about playing Agassi is that he just freezes you at net. He has so many different options. Now watch, Woodforde at net, he doesn't know which way Andre is going to go. He was looking for the down the line, and he got the cross court. Agassi can, of course, throw up that lob, but Woodforde comes in on good stuff. This is a deep volley, but watch him lean to his right, then he has to go back, and that's too good a passing shot.
Back live as Agassi has missed his first serve. This is a second. He'll let that drop.
30-11.
Well, if you were trying to teach somebody early preparation, Tim, you'd have to really make Agassi a study, because he gets over the ball so quickly, gets the racket back, feet are working so hard. He's on a roll right now. 30-love. Up 4-2 with a break. He already has the first. That is one of the rare serve and volley efforts by Agassi. Thought he could slip in and knock off a quick point. It didn't work.
Well, a little bit of a frying pan forehand volley here. Now watch him come underneath. Not good technique. You can see him slide that volley. That's perhaps his worst shot. If you can see his tongue out, he can't believe he tried that shot.
Oh, yes.
40-15.
No need to volley on that forehand. Agassi loves to have Australians for lunch and dinner tonight, in fact. Very solid.
Up the overhead, it goes wide, and so Agassi leads it 5-2. Welcome back to center court. Purex Tennis Championships. Andre Agassi has been putting on a display the last few games against Mark Woodforde, leading 5-2 and a set. Oh yes, Agassi. And Woodforde knows he got a little lucky on that replay there as he moved to his left. A smile from Agassi. Another look at it here as Woodforde's in quickly. Now watch Agassi. He drills it up the line. Woodforde just moves at the right time, gets his racket on the ball. And both players with a little smile. Agassi just drills it here. Thought he had it. He says, I don't believe it. My colleague, Tim Mayotte, has headed courtside in case this match ends quickly.
15-all.
We'll try and get an interview with the winner. 15-all now. Agassi 3 points away from moving into the finals here in Scottsdale. Ball floats out off the slice backhand, and so now 15-30. Agassi 2 points away. You just get the feeling that Agassi is so much business out there trying to wrap up these matches as quickly as possible. No frills. He has been winning easily throughout the week here. Woodforde moving back, decides to let that ball drop in. And a rare smile from Agassi. Watch this ball now as it, with tremendous topspin, Woodforde backs up, says, I'm going to let it go, and it drops well inside the baseline. It is double match point for Andre Agassi. Just wide. Woodforde looks over. Agassi thought for a moment he had it. Still match point, 30-40. Putting about as much weight into that forehand as he has all night long. Gets the deep shot. Watch it again now as Woodforde lines this ball up, really goes for it. Agassi just catches the tape. It's deuce. Good eye. Woodforde points out. And so Woodforde holds off 2 match points. And now Woodforde with a chance to hold here. And a solid serve from Mark Woodforde. And so Woodforde stays alive. Agassi leading 5-3, will be serving for the match. Woodforde down earlier this week to Malavia, Washington, 2 match points, survived those, and went on to win. A good win over Washington. This kid is a tough competitor. Agassi to serve now for the match. Second serve. Oh, it drops long. Gotta wonder what's running through Agassi's mind now. Letting a couple match points get away, even though they were on Woodforde's serve. And now down 15, club 15 here. Agassi with his hand up just jumps over the racket of Woodforde. Talk about a game of split inches here. Watch the good approach from Woodforde. Now the ball just catches the top of the tape. No way he can move the racket that quickly. From another angle, Woodforde all set, knows the ball is dropping, and it jumps over the racket. 15 all. No, and a double fault.
15-30.
The first double fault of the evening for Agassi. And what a time for it. Puts him down 15-30. And so 30 all now. Agassi in with one of his biggest serves of the evening, 109 miles per hour, and once again, Agassi is at match point. Bit of extra time, straightens the strings.
It's quite a display, a wave to the crowd. And Agassi into the finals in straight sets. We'll be back with the winner. Stay with us on Prime Network. 2 and 3 Agassi. Welcome back as Andre Agassi has won convincingly here in straight sets 6-2 and 6-3. Let's go courtside now where Tim Mayotte is with Andre. Tim?
Well, Andre, 1 hour and 14 minutes, your longest match this week. You've been playing great tennis here in Scottsdale.
Yeah, it's been, the desert has treated me well this year. You know, I've been playing really well, staying really focused, and just staying on top of these guys, and you have to, because if you give them a little room to breathe, they can hurt you.
Well, kind of an unknown tomorrow, Marcos Andruska. What do you expect?
No, he's not unknown to me. I played him in San Francisco, and I played him once, but that's enough to know that he's a tough competitor. The guy runs really well, real strong, consistent off both sides, can hit a big serve. He can do everything real well, and it's going to be a question of me staying disciplined and making sure that I can dictate the rallies and